Hi, welcome back to channel FIFA Mobile. Alright, today we share with you how to clear this TOTS challenge itself. Of course, there's a new league. Of course, then the matches and skill game will slightly probably different. But let's check it out. Of course, let's see how different it is compared to the Premier League challenge that we have just completed recently. So moving forward, you will not be able to play any more of those Premier League. But nonetheless, I think you should have gotten the sufficient points to clear all the Premier League's rewards already. I foresee the same for this new league itself in terms of rewards points. Unfortunately, there isn't any tickets that's available in this time of the TOTS. Unlike previous time whereby we have tickets, we can exchange it across different leagues itself. Now it seems it's more towards the specifics to the leagues there. For example, Premier League points can only spend for Premier League rewards, and you can't use it to exchange for something else, or can you save it up for future use. So in the first match itself, I would say it's generally quite simple, not all difficulty at all. It's unlike the Premier League, whereby I think the first match was against Liverpool. I don't remember wrongly. It should be quite difficult. As compared to this, it's so much easier. Probably there's a bit back then FIFA Mobile EA took into consideration to make it much simpler. So you shouldn't have any issue clearing this match at all. It's just a very quick match that can actually easily practice your skills if towards the final one, which is the H2H. So take opportunity to play all these matches and score as many goals as possible, so that is to brush up your skills in the H2H itself, because it's extremely important. Moving forward, we'll be having many different leagues in this TOTS, and most of the challenge will end with a H2H. It all depends on luck. H2H sometimes is rigged in your favor, sometimes it's not. It also depends on the luck of the opponent given to you. If it's an easier one, it's so much better as compared to those really tough opponents. So all this luck base. Very quickly, I think we'll end this first match and we'll go to our first skill games. Really excited to know what's the skill game like. Is it similar or is it different? So this is the first time doing this challenge. The match wise, I would say it's much easier compared to Premier League first match. Let's go to round 2 right now, and let's see what's the new skill game about. Alright, so I think there's no change. So in that case, I suspect the fourth skill game would be similarly, which is a much hated one. So that we'll come to that in terms of semi-finals later on. But for now, let's head on to the third match. I guess, yeah, it's the same, which is you only have sufficient time to do this, swapping in your subs, and that's the end of the first half. Exactly the same where we played the Premier League challenge itself. So again, I don't foresee this is difficult. It's just a one goal disadvantage. Very quickly, let's quickly do an equalizer in order to be able to secure the win. If you don't do it in 30 minutes or so-called in 90 minutes, we can do it in the extra 30 minutes of 50 minutes each of the extra time. There are two halves of it, of course. Let's being pragmatic about this. I think it is all about tackling, right? So, and of course, most of the time, try to outrun the defenders. Maybe a challenge at times, but if you're really superb, fast runners, there's no problem with it. So it's important you always look out for sprint speed and acceleration in your players, especially those attackers and midfielders, if possible. For me, I'm really happy. I mean, generally we already have the winning goal, and as long as we maintain this, I think it shouldn't be problem at all. You can see me easily sweeping it in and out with the lane change skill move. So I don't think there's much difficulty in this match either. So I'm really looking forward to the next skill game, just to affirm that indeed it is the much hated target skill game that we played. It's not that difficult after all if you're able to follow the sharing that I made. So in that skill game itself, I'll just share a bit more now since we have time. The skill game, there are basically 6 targets gotta hit, but you gotta hit the top 2 targets first. How you do that is basically swiping your fingers above the goalpost, just above the target itself. And if you can't see the red dots on that target, it just means that it's not on target. So you should adjust it while you still have time before the player kicks off the ball. So in that context, you will be able to secure hitting on on the dark target as long as the red dot is on that target. Once you clear the top two of the targets, then you aim for the bottom two. The bottom two, it may seem difficult, but actually it's not, because as long as you wait for the yellow obstacles to hit the center and you go ahead and shot out to that shot, that would be the appropriate timing. So that's how I tackle the bottom two, and then the last one that's difficult would be the center one. You can click on the points. All right, so now let's tackle the first two first. Right, you can see me doing adjustments. Red dot must be on the target, and here we go in terms of hitting the both sides. Yellow must touch the center, then you release. All right, so touch this one, you can touch the points, 5,000 points you saw just now, and the last one is just simple. Right, so that's generally how you do for that semi-finals, a much hated skill game. All right, so now let's head on to this. I'm really lucky today. We got a legendary 3 on board, 775 800 cups. Not much of a concern after all. So let's go for it and see how things flow out. So generally, the only worry is EA messed it up for me by favoring the opponent. First, I'm going to sub in all my best players, because my target is always during the first half, if we could, we knock out the player, which means we score 1 or 2 goals and the player just gave up and a disconnect. So I think that's the best option. So intend to put in my best. Oh, I think this is gone. This is a goner, because you can see it's obvious it's a goal, but EA refuses. So there's a good chance the opponent will score, because this just a telltale sign is rigged in the opponent's favor. Again, it's obvious. All right, let's try and see one more time. Okay, so this confirms that. So in most of the time, I would have already scored probably 2-0 by now. So this is indeed rigged in the opponent's favor, and you can see obviously again the ball just flies out the moment you tackle it. So, and even though you're best position to block that passing to throw out basically out of the fields. Lucky me here, we managed to block it, and I'm a high chance here. Yes, the opponent scores. So this is a very classic case of EA rig in the opponent's favor. All right. So how do we turn the tide then? Of course, then it all depends on skill. Very much on skill, of course. We try to outrun, try not to get too close to the whites, which is the opponent. All right. So this is again a telltale sign. Why so not get too close? Because it's rigged in their favor. Anytime you get close, the ball will be passed on to their possession. So try to create a very huge gap. Of course, you can see the EA just try to make things difficult for you. Don't give up on this, definitely. Once you give up and you lock out, or basically disconnect, you are gone, because this is in the opponent's favor. So try to persist on this, and eventually we may get a draw and we can play it again. That's what we're aiming for right now. So very quickly, we're going to defend this. If we lose this 2-0, I think we are a goner. So very lucky there. We managed to get back to possession. Try to create a gap. Fantastic opportunity here. You can see here that a huge gap there in the fields. That's why you should pass to the player. I'm very lucky we get that equalizer done at the early onset of the game, at the start of this second half. I do say that there's a chance I may win. Yes, you can see here it's released. The rig has been released, which means the AI rigged by EA has been gone. So that's no longer in the opponent's favor in that context. All right, very quickly, let's fast forward a bit here, and very quickly we're going to try to aim and score our second goal so far. All right, so let's see. Okay, almost there. Let's see a bit more. Let's try our best again. Okay, a good chance here. Let's go. All right, 3-1 already. We have secured the win for sure. Definitely is not a skillful player, but a good attempt, because sometimes it takes a lot of effort to practice and lose multiple times before you can gain some skills. Right? Why I'm saying that this player is not skillful is because this player is just do this. You can see here. You see, it's obviously not a skillful player for sure. So that's how you shouldn't be playing, because if you play that winner, definitely you lose. All right, so definitely he's not very skillful in blocking either. You shouldn't be using one defender. You should be using two, which means you should activate your second defender. All right, so that's it. We managed to win this, and really happy with this. Right, rewards, nothing much to shout about, but nonetheless, thanks for watching. Do like, subscribe, goodbye.